Hey, Shalom Israel. This the brother Bakala Walam here with a hopefully edifying video for the elect of YAHAWAHSHI. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAHSHI, Bashim Rakakadas, and double honors to the apostles and the brethren at GMS that I learned the truth from, and brethren with the like-minded doctrine, and to the Akim and the Aqua, to you I say Shalom. Right here I got a couple of videos that I'm trying to put together on basically exposing the fraud behind all this pandemic that's on being or that's on display here. So I think this guy's a Republican, Rand Paul. It says here he's gonna talk about the studies and basically where your tax money is going. You're basically funding your own death, so to speak. So I'm gonna let this video play, and I'm gonna bring some scriptures out afterwards.
We also need to have oversight on where our money is being spent. There's a great deal of circumstantial evidence now that NIH money went to the Wuhan Virology Institute. There's a great deal of evidence, at least suggesting that the pandemic may have started there. We don't know for certain. I'm not saying that it did, but there is evidence now that suggests that it might have. Number one, there is no animal host for COVID-19. We have not found, of the thousands of animals we tested in the wet market, none of them had COVID-19. When you take COVID-19 and you try to infect bats, which is where most coronaviruses come from, what do you discover? You discover that COVID-19 is actually not very well infected in bats. The bats don't catch it very easily. It seems as if COVID-19 is most adapted for humans. But if it came from animals, shouldn't there be an animal host that is readily infected by this? The other evidence...
I'm gonna stop it there. See, that's where they try to say this. It came from originally came from anyway, right? That this C19 originated in bats, you know, and you just heard you heard them say that that the C19 doesn't even do too well as transmitting from bat to bat in bats, and it's basically made to be transmitted by human hosts, by humans. You know, so I want to get this out of Job 13:4, and it reads, "But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value." You know, because basically this right here is a blatant lie to the masses of people worldwide, and it's a cover up, and basically what's fueling this whole pandemic is money, greed. You know, that's what's fueling it. I'm gonna just wind it back a little bit, just to have him repeat what was just mentioned.
Host for COVID-19. I'm not saying that it did, but there is evidence now that suggests that it might have. Number one, there is no animal host for COVID-19. We have not found, of the thousands of animals we tested in the wet market, none of them had COVID-19. When you take COVID-19 and you try to infect bats, which is where most coronaviruses come from, what do you discover? You discover that COVID-19 is actually not very well infected in bats. the bats don't catch it very easily. It seems as if COVID-19 is most adapted for humans. But if it came from animals, shouldn't there be an animal host that is readily infected by this? The other evidence we have in the last couple of days is confirmation that 3 individuals at the Wuhan Institute got sick in November of last year, sick enough to be in the hospital from a virus that was previously undisclosed. They worked in the Wuhan Institute.
So he said that there was I think he said 2 employees at the laboratory that got sick. They didn't basically the sickness came from the 2 employees that worked at the laboratory, not from the meat markets. Where they said said that it originated from. I'm gonna wind it back a little bit.
Wuhan Institute got sick in November of last year, sick enough to be in the hospital from a virus that was previously undisclosed. They worked in the Wuhan Institute. We're told this came from the wet market lab, from exotic animals, but not one animal tested positive for the virus. So we have an amendment. We're hoping it will be adopted.
He said not one animal was tested positive for the virus at that wet market or whatever, that animal market where they said the C19 originated from.
They worked in the Wuhan Institute. We're told this came from the wet market lab, from exotic animals, but not one animal tested positive for the virus. So we have an amendment we're hoping that will be adopted by this body that says gain of function research, as defined by the NIH in 2014, will not be permitted in China. We will not fund it with American dollars. But it's like so much waste in government, I think there's no reason to be sending any money to China for research. They're a rich country. For goodness sakes, we're worried about them out-competing us, stealing our intellectual property, and then we send them millions of dollars to do research. Why don't they spend their own money? And do we trust them enough? Are they open enough to tell us what's going on in the lab that we want to give them money? I think without question they have not shown this. And now we're finding out that people were sick in the lab in November. No more money should flow to China for research on gain of function, which means increasing the virulence or pathogenicity or the transmissibility of COVID virus to humans. So I urge this body to adopt my amendment, which says from here on out, China doesn't get any money to create superviruses in a lab, and we should continue to investigate this because 3 million people have died worldwide. We've disrupted the entire world's economy over a virus. If it came from a lab, we need to know it, and it needs to be fully investigated. Thank you, Mr. President.
All time has expired.
So that lets you know there where the taxpayers dollars are going to. You're funding your own death, so to speak. You know, they creating illnesses. You know, and you know from evidence that's been gathered that this United States government is funding this laboratory to do experimental research, which they creating viruses, which now they know or have evidence that the taxpayer dollars are funding for basically your own demise. That's basically what it is. But I'm gonna go to this other video. It has this guy here. Fusi. I just say that. But I'm gonna let him speak the lies, the lies and hypocrisy that come out of this guy's mouth.
Databases now. So none of that was gain of function. So
why are we giving him money in the first place?
well, that's a very good question, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer it. Well, SARS-CoV-1 started in China, in Guangdong province, and it went from a bat to a civet cat to a human.
So you don't think the Chinese would lie to you?
Well, when you say the Chinese are a rather broad group. I know the scientists that we've dealt with have been trustworthy.
You think?
See that he's going on the theory that it telling or stating that this C-19 most definitely came from bats. When you heard the previous video where he said there was evidence shows that there's evidence facts shows that this C-19 cannot does cannot be spreaded or done cannot be spreaded, so to speak, in bats or any type of animal, but it's basically engineered or more it's more geared to spreading to human beings. That's basically, and that's evidence that proves that. But this guy just stated that the hoax, it came from bats due to the scientists that was scientists at this Wuhan laboratory. I'm gonna let it continue playing.
I think all the scientists have told the truth in terms of the origin of the Wuhan virus and not been influenced by the Communist Party of China, do you?
I don't have enough insight into the Communist Party in China to know the interactions between them and the scientists, sir.
Yes, and excuse me, Doc, for interrupting you, but our time is so
Yeah,
limited.
no, I'm going to be real quick.
Our time is so limited. Why are
he said, "Excuse me, this time is so that time is so limited." But that's spiritual too, bro. He's definitely right on that. That time is limited, and that's why they're gonna come down with that great wrath, because they know that they had but a short time. That's spiritual too. But I'm gonna let it continue playing.
we giving money to the labs in China to study virology?
Well, I'm going to give you a rather succinct answer to that,
I
sir.
appreciate that.
And that's why I was saying the SARS-CoV-1, clearly the bats that have the viruses, that are the coronaviruses, are in China. As I said a couple of times, it's not in Fairfax County, Virginia, or is it in New York? It's in China. So if you want to show and study, importantly, the animal-human interface.
Yeah, this guy right here is a blatant liar, man. Just like the scripture said, Job. I'm gonna bring it out again. Job 9:13-4, and it reads, "But ye are forgers of lies; ye are all physicians of no value." That's basically, this guy is just a blatant liar, and this whole scamdemic that's going on. It's just that, a scamdemic, and it's just a money ploy, or greed is fueling this whole thing. And I also got an article here that I want to bring out that basically see, just to point out, you see there that the taxpayer money is going towards developing, you know developing these going towards experimentations where, in fact, that these viruses are being created. There's without a doubt that these viruses are being created in these laboratories, and also so that's your taxpayer dollars are funding this. So you're funding your demise, and also your taxpayer dollars are funding the cure. So I got this article here, Curie.com. It goes into the C-19 vaccines, and the title said, "Who will pay for the vaccines? This will depend on age, employment, and government funding programs." According to the CDC, vaccine doses purchased with U.S. taxpayer dollars will be given to American people at no cost. So that lets you know there, just in that first sentence, that the taxpayers are paying for this these vaccines. However, vaccinated providers will be able to charge an administrative fee for giving the shot to someone. Vaccine providers can get this fee reimbursed by the patient's public or private insurance company, or for uninsured patients by the health resources and service administration provider relief fund. So I just want to point out that fact that that's where your money is going to. Your money is going to the creation of these of these viruses, and it's also your money is also going towards the creation of the cure or medicine, which is in the form of these vaccine waters that you fueling your demise and your wellness behind that is your money fueling both ends. So it's madness and it's fuel, and this is all backed or fueled by greed, money. There's another article too that I want to just get. I don't know how credible it is, but I think it's credible. Credible to I think it's courts.com. I think it's a credible source, and it says in the push for new vaccines, taxpayers keep paying and paying. So that's just more evidence that this is where your money is going, you know. And I'm not trying to go into details, or because I don't want them to try to give me a strike on this page. But that's just the whole. That's basically what I want to bring out. That where your money is going to the making of it and the curing of it. And I also want to bring out this scripture here before I close out. In Ephesians 6, starting at verse 10, and it reads, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of YAHAWAH, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." See, that's what is going on. This is trickery. This is trickery, deceit, and deception by the devil. Wiles means trickery. So that's all they're doing is tricking. They tricking the people and saying that this is happening. It originated from these animals. You know. Now we jump to human hosts, and wow, the whole time they lied to you and created this whole thing, and this whole thing is created in the laboratory. And I'm gonna continue on, and it says, "Put on the whole armor of YAHAWAH, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness, against the rulers of darkness of the world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." See, that's what we are wrestling against: the principalities and the powers of this world, and the spiritual wickedness in high places that's fueling these situations that we are calling today. Um, that basically is the prophecies that's coming to pass, is written in through the scriptures. You know, all the plagues that's upon the earth, but it's fueled by none other than the devil himself, the devil in the flesh. Um, Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. You know, so yeah, I hope the body of YAHAWAHSHI was edified through the short video. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to YAHAWAHSHI. Call Halayim La, YAHAWAHSHI, and Dawada to the Akim. And I want to say Shalom to the next time, Yahweh willing, and Wild Baba Ball.